Okay, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to speak first and foremost about safety. Safety is a critical thing with this RC hobby, aircraft hobby. And I'm going to relay something that happened just 2 weeks ago at one of the flying fields I fly at. I fly at two different flying fields. And I was flying with a student standing beside me. And there were two other pilots in the air at the time. So there was 3 aircraft up, which is normal. That's about the limit I take for a student up. If there's 4 or more, I probably wouldn't take a student up. But one of the guys flying was a relatively new person, but qualified, I'll say. New but qualified. And he was flying one of these. So it came across the runway sideways. The pilot tried to turn it, turned too sharply, overreacted, turned back toward the pilots that were standing on the side of the runway, and this thing buzzed my head. I ducked. Had I not ducked, it would have hit my head, but I ducked, and I still felt something just grazed the hat that I was wearing. So it was that close. And he got it up in the air finally after he got past me. Was very sorry, obviously. But, you know, there are several problems with flying this. If you're not experienced, you might overreact. That's exactly what he did. And if you overreact, you've got to be careful about where it is. And, you know, he was trying to land. Don't try to salvage a bad landing. He was still trying to land and finally realized he wasn't going to, when it was coming too close to people, he better do something, and he did. Fortunately, he did save the day by getting it back up in the air, but the aircraft propeller was going at 100% and it just barely missed my head. So I'm going to caution everybody who wants to buy one of these to find an instructor. If you want to try it alone, okay, that's your choice. You should at least join the AMA, which is the Academy of Model Aeronautics, that provides liability insurance for you and anybody else that you might hit. So having a liability insurance while flying these can be important because you might hit a car, you might hit a house, you might hit whatever is around you. I recommended a big open field. That's where AMA fields usually are. And so at least if you hit something, it won't be, it might be a tree, but it won't be a building or hopefully not another pilot. So, and I'll speak more about the AMA in a future video. So it is vitally important that you realize how dangerous this thing can be in the wrong hands. And in skilled hands, it's a whole lot of fun. And I'm going to demonstrate that to you in this series of videos. So, if you're going to try it on your own, okay, your choice, your responsibility, your liability. But I always recommend to go to the AMA website, which I'll explain later, and find a decent instructor to help you learn to fly this airplane. Okay, there's other safety rules in this manual, and I'll explain them more in details as we go through it. About the batteries. These things can catch fire. You've heard on the news hoverboards and all kinds of cell phones. I think a Samsung cell phone was catching fire because it has one of these batteries in it. And I'll explain more details about batteries and how they catch fire. But there are some dangerous things here. You have to respect them and know and understand what it is you do with all this stuff. This series of videos is going to explain a lot about batteries and a lot about flying, and also how to build it and so forth. So, thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next video.